I think that's an important question to ask because there's so much music floating around out there right now that I even find myself wondering what's worth buying, what's worth listening to, what's worth checking out. It's almost paralysis by choice, but think history should be a record that's at least worth checking out for a couple of different reasons. First one being that I think it's probably the best writing that I've ever done. So as far as songwriting goes, I have some friends who write songs professionally in Nashville, and a lot of them would say that you don't even really start writing anything good until you're about in your 40s because you haven't actually experienced life until then. And so, obviously that's not always the case. There are always those people who have lived like 3 lives, by the time they're 21 years old and can really accurately, depict that in a song. For a lot of people though, it's going through and experiencing that life. It's kind of giving a little chunk of history of their own life that goes through and how they impart that information that goes in there. So I think that building on the foundation of me writing songs since I was about 16 until now, this is some of the best writing that I've ever done, and I think that hopefully everybody will be able to see that. I'd say the second reason that history is worth checking out is it's a record that now that I'm releasing in 2012, I actually have a little bit of ground to stand on as far as accolades go in the career. When I released my first solo record back in 2005, I was just a guy putting out songs from my dorm room, and now I had a publishing deal happen since then. I've had a few songs appear in movies, had a song featured on the summer playlist for Hollister Clothing Company, opened for a couple of major label acts or international acts. And so just kind of those things being affirmed outside of you just one person telling you, check out my record, it's good. It's at least affirmed by a couple of those other sources. Lastly, I think probably the most compelling reason that history is going to be worth your time to check out is just that it's a record that's written about life, and it adequately kind of addresses that, where I've spent 4 years writing it, and I've developed personally as I've also developed musically, and just as far as my songwriting has gone and the ability to tell those stories in a compelling way. I think that's going to be the best thing that I have to offer in this next record. And so I hope that comes across, that you'll be able to see that progression from, all of a sudden my first record that shows me as a college kid, struggling with this or that, to being, an adult. What does that mean? But to being an adult that's kind of facing an entirely new set of challenges. And sometimes life is fun, and sometimes it's really hard. And hopefully all of those will come across in history, not only the storytelling wise, but also